when do you see the movement that, as a PAC movement in 5 years? Do you see that? I don't know when have you started this movement in the United States? It was in 2022, 2023.
August of 2025.
Wow.
Yes, August of 2025. And we've already had thousands of donations, hundreds of volunteers, incredible growth. We can't keep up with the growth that we're getting. It's a good problem, but the support has been enormous, enormous, and we want it to keep coming because the more that it comes, the more power it gives us to oppose Zionism on the political stage. So we're asking people, Americans only. Unfortunately, we cannot take donations from anybody outside of the country. But we're asking Americans to please donate, to get in the fight, to amplify the message. And the website is aza-pac.com, aza-pac.com, or just type AzaPac in your Google search, AZA PAC, and you'll find us. We're first on the list. So far, Google has not deplatformed us. They haven't blacklisted us. They haven't downgraded us. They're not hiding us at this juncture. So we're lucky. We have good SEO right now. So just search for AzaPac and you'll find us. And I see in 5 years, I hope we don't have to exist. In 5 years, I hope all PACs will be dissolved. If we get people into office that we'd like in there, we will get rid of PACs altogether. I don't want there to be PACs. We're only doing this because of the unfortunate necessity of for doing it, because the U.S. government is for sale. And because of that, we have to fight fire with fire. But hopefully, in the long run, we will be happily dissolved. And I would prefer that, actually, because this is a lot of work. And I'd like us to be able to get people in office that will make PACs and political contributions through PACs illegal. And hopefully we could get APAC before that, force them to have to register as a foreign agent under the Foreign Agent Registration Act, FARA. So in 5 years, I hope we don't exist. If we still have to continue fighting like this, we will, but hopefully PACs will be gone. But I'm not counting on it. So I expect in 5 years, we'll still be fighting this battle.
Yeah. Do you consider any difference between, for example, Chuck Schumer, the leader of the Democratic Party, one of the most important, characters or, officials within the Democratic Party, and, for example, comparing him to Ted Cruz or Lindsey Graham? What is the difference, Michael?
When it comes to subservience to Israel, there is no difference at all. They're on the same page. There's only one thing that all of the politicians, left, right, Democrat, Republican, agree on, and that's Israel. Everything else is up for grabs, but everything else really is insignificant considering that this particular issue has hijacked the government. It's not really an issue. People say this is a one issue. We're a one issue PAC. I don't agree. I don't think it's an issue whenever your government is occupied by a foreign entity. I call that more than an issue. That's actually the cause for revolutionary activity. And we consider AzaPac to be revolutionary activity. It's not a violent revolution. We're trying to do this, and we want to do this peacefully. We want to extricate all the Zionists from our government peacefully by voting them out. But if it comes down to the difficulties of getting rid of them, we're going to have to up the game and just continue to try to remove them through political means. And that's what we're after.
Did you watch this guy who's, with his cell phone going asking the American politicians, America first or Israel first? Most of the time he doesn't get the answer. The people are so afraid of responding. This shows how deep this sort of, influence from the APAC and Zionists, the supporters of Israel in the United States is, and even the politicians who are working, who are from the United States, who were born in the United States, who are serving the United States, but they're afraid of saying that America first is not Israel first.
Unbelievable. And it just shows you that that's emblematic of everything that's happened. And look at what happened when we saw 250 state representatives go to Israel and participate in a conference called 50 States, One Israel, of all things. And that logo they put up is like emblematic of the entire situation where Israel is attempting to fuse our two countries. And our political class is involved. They want to fuse it as if we're the same nation. They want to fuse our interests, they want to fuse our funds, they want to fuse our political will, all towards basically becoming part of Israel. And this is unbelievable. You have Brian Mast, who wears an IDF uniform to work as a representative. We're going after him. We've endorsed a candidate that's going after him. And we're going to pick them off one at a time. Hopefully we can get a bunch of them at once. But we're targeting particular political candidates or office holders in particular that we're trying to bump out. But I would say there's no difference between left and right inside of the Beltway about Israel. It's all Israel all the time. And you see that with these representatives and senators who are afraid to say America first because they know where their bread's buttered and who has the power. They're terrified. So there's 4 factors that fuel Israeli or Zionist control over the United States. 1 is money. 2 is blackmail. 3 is ideology. And 4 is fear. Fear is a very strong motivator for these people. They're afraid of the power of the Zionist billionaire class who have the ability and the media power to destroy them. After all, look at all the media that's been bought up by the Zionist ownership. Larry Ellison and, with TikTok and CBS News and Paramount and the whole host of this media now is being consolidated in Zionist
Bill
hands.
Ackman.
Bill Ackman, yeah. These people are running the country, and we can't have it anymore because they're running it for the benefit of another country, and so that's not good.
Yeah. I think, Michael, it could be better to start, media is so important these days, and they, as you've mentioned, they have everything when it comes to the media. It's all about their rhetoric. You seldomly, you rarely hear something from the alternative media in the United States. They're not just in the United States, in Europe, the propaganda is so thick.
Yeah.
We know the governments for example, in Europe, they're trying to do, their foreign policy tries to put some sort of pressure on Israel. But after all, the whole policy all across Europe is to support the Zionists, and their policies. And do you think that comes from the United States and these people in the United States somehow influencing the foreign policies of European countries?
Yeah, I mean, the administration has threatened and gone through with threats to punish countries that don't support Israel adequately, to punish them with tariffs, to punish them with various threats like we won't trade with you and all of these things. I mean, I can't keep track of it all, but there's so many cases where the administration has threatened other countries that unless they support Israel to the extent that is deemed necessary, then they will suffer. And so, yeah, there's a great deal. The United States is Israel's bulldog, munitions depot, and ATM machine. Until that stops, you're going to see all these other countries cowering in the face of Zionism, because Zionism is, its biggest supporter is the United States government, not Israel's government, us, the US. And that's why I want to de-Zionize the government.
Yeah. Just Michael, when you see the situation with Venezuela, do you think that is related to the Zionist ideology in the United States?
It's entirely related. For example, Venezuela has ties with Hamas, and they have ties with Hezbollah, and they have condemned the genocide. They don't support Israel. The Zionist bankers do not want Venezuelan oil outside of their purview. The military-industrial complex does not want Venezuelan oil or other resources to escape its grasp. That's why we're going after Venezuela. It has nothing to do with drugs. There are other drug countries that supply a lot more drugs to the United States than Venezuela. This is absurd. Anybody that would believe that has got to be living under a rock. The fact is that Zionism is what's propelling this battle against Venezuela. It's another case where our foreign policy is being dictated by the interests of the Zionist entity.
Yeah. Who's, Michael, just to wrap up this session, who's the most, important supporter of the Zionist entity in the United States? Can you point out that it is within the Republican Party, it's within the Democratic Party, it's somehow a establishment behind these two, and they don't, belong to the Democrats or Republican. They're to the center, and they're managing to, the rhetoric on the left and the right, to somehow drive the show by the Zionist ideology. Is that the case? What is your understanding of these sort of differences in the United States between the two parties, the system of two parties?
Between the two parties? Well, you have more pressure on the Democratic Party to disavow and to defund the genocide. You have more organization on the left that's anti-Zionist, that's been around for a long time. But it hasn't worked because it hasn't been bipartisan. It hasn't attacked the real fact of, it hasn't really gone after the ruling class. And the ruling class in the United States is Zionist. And when I say ruling class, I'm not using the Marxist idea. The ruling class is whoever controls the state and state power. And that's Zionists. That's who controls state power in the United States. So the differences between the parties is merely the difference between their constituents. So Democrats have more historical and traditional opposition to the Israeli colonial settler conquest state than Republicans, but that's shifting dramatically. That's what's really scaring AIPAC, and it's scaring Israel. It's why they bought TikTok. It's why they are trying to get and basically have a control over now Talking Point USA since Charlie Kirk's assassination. It's why they are terrified that they'll lose control of the American right wing. And that has become evident with the fact that there's a huge disaffection amongst the right wing youth against Israel. That's what's really concerning them. Because if they lose the right wing, they've lost it. I think without the Republicans' support, the Democrat support for Israel would also dissipate. So That's why we're largely attacking Republican candidates, because if the Republican Party were to switch modes and to be anti-Zionist or non-Zionist at least, you're going to see the Democrats shift tremendously with them. In fact, they're already shifting, at least they're pretending to. You have candidates saying that they won't take APAC money, famously, but they're probably getting it through other sources, other Zionist sources, direct donations from Adelson and others. But you're going to see, if in fact we can destabilize the Republican support for Israel and Zionism under all circumstances, then I think it would shake up the Democrat side quite a bit, because they'll no longer feel so beholden. If we can show that AIPAC doesn't have the power to decide who is in office, you're going to see defectors on both sides, a tremendous defection from the Israeli Zionist lobby control.